welcoming the interns today. Just figured, you're going to see their face a lot over the summer, right? And you might not know who they are, you might know who they are, but I just thought it would be great to introduce them to everyone in a officially unofficial way.
My name is Nate Buchanan. I am a summer intern this year. Throughout the year, this past year, I was a freshman at Liberty University, and I'm actually studying youth ministry, so I'll be going hopefully up to be a youth pastor someday. Doing this summer is pretty much my dream, to be here to be an intern and to work with these kids this summer.
Next. I'm Jed Myers. I am just finished my sophomore year at Gordon College, which is just north of Boston. I am a youth ministries as well, major with psychology minor, and I have been doing a lot of stuff actually last year. One of the main things I was doing is I was an intern for the Office of Community Engagement at Gordon, and I got to lead teams into nearby city and work with refugee high school kids, tutoring them and hanging out with them and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And my name's Sophie Zazeski, and I was a freshman at Savannah College of Art and Design this past year, studying painting. I'm just really excited to see where the Lord takes me with my future and with my career, hoping that one day we can interweave art and ministry together. And I spent my year involved a lot with Reformed Fellowship University, and God teaching me a lot what it means to be involved in ministry without having to be in a ministry.
Cool.
I think personally one of my favorite memories was in wilderness camp. I had the chance to go canoeing with a few of the campers, and it was right after lunch, and Pastor Jim had just said, be careful for any storms that come by. We're not really expecting anything, but something might happen. And all of a sudden, like 10 minutes after that, it just starts pouring down and lightning came, so we had to get off to the side. And for me, it was my group was the only group there. It was me and two of the campers, and we just sat down, and they were like scared to death. And all of a sudden, they just asked me, Nate, can we pray? That was one of the coolest experiences I ever had. Like, it was terrifying, but my own campers were like, hey, Nate, can we pray? And it was just a humbling experience for myself, just to experience that, but it was also one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had.
I think one of my favorite experiences that I can, looking back, it was my junior year of high school, I believe. We were in Philadelphia, and I was the leader of my team that year, and it had been a really crazy week that week. We had a lot going on, a lot of people sick, a lot of just stuff going on the streets that I think was difficult that year for everyone. And I remember feeling, it was Wednesday night, it was feeling really overwhelmed with all the tasks that we had and everything we had to get done for the next day. And I just feeling a real need just kind of to connect with the other leaders. So we gathered all of the leaders of each team, each high school leader. We went into a room and we just kind of sat there for a few minutes, and it was just dead quiet, and it was probably the first time I had had quiet for the past 4 days. And it was really refreshing. We prayed together and we talked about how our teams were going, and it was one of the most encouraging things that happened to me that year, and definitely I think through summer ministries too.
I don't know, it's really hard to pick. I think one of my favorite times, actually it was kind of a repeated thing, but last year with my Philly group, we made a point to try to get to know each other better, and we would take time to have everyone in the group share their testimony before the week was over. And that was just a really neat thing, watching people learn how to open up and be real and talking about where they were, so we knew how better to understand, serve, and work with each other. And it's pretty neat. Never did anything like that before.
Well, I think one of the coolest things that we get to do now is to actually make up the devotional booklets for each camp. We get to, dig through the Bible and just see exactly what God is wanting these kids to learn this year. And, we get to do the booklets for wilderness camp, for Maine, for the high schoolers even. And it's just really cool to put together that book to kind of dig through what questions we want to ask, what questions we want the leaders to search through themselves. And that kind of is a long preparation for us, but it's a really cool for us to get that together and be the ones to kind of put it all together and make it into a book for them so that they can have and go through as their own devotions as they're going through the devotions with the campers. So that's just part of the preparation that we have.
Yeah. I was thinking we have a lot of just small tasks. We make these giant checklists last year and this year, and so our goal is to finish the whole checklist by the end of the summer, which we made it close last summer. If we didn't finish, I forget. But there's a lot of just little tasks, like making sure first aid kits are filled up and replenished, things like that. And there's just a lot of menial tasks, but they need to be done in order for everything to run smoothly in the summer. So as far as preparation goes, it's lots of little things that we have to make sure of.
And kind of off the clock, we're also here just to build relationships with the high schoolers and anyone else who is interested. I know this summer I'm trying to do a thing with the girls every Saturday morning for about 2 hours. They're invited to come over to my house for what I'm calling brunch Bibles and Babes. And we're going to make waffles, we're going to do icebreakers, and we're going to probably read some articles about women in the Bible and trying to figure out what does it mean to be a Christian woman.
No
No
brunch. No, not yet.
Okay.
Having endurance is really tricky. Yeah, just being able to keep working with a positive attitude and right motives and squeezing sleep in there somewhere.
It's funny, I don't find getting tired, I mean, yeah, but I love it so much that I never really get that tired doing anything. I think for me, probably one of the hardest things is continually figuring out my role in everything. Each year it kind of looks a little different, whether from high school to high school leader to intern first year, now intern second year. Each year it changes a little bit, and I think for me the hardest thing has been trying to figure out what it looks like that summer. And this summer, what it's going to look like each week for me to be a part of the ministry, be a part of the team, things like that.
Yeah, I actually really like what Sophie just said about having a positive attitude. You know, we jump from task to task on our checklist, and we just got to make sure to keep the attitude up. And you know, all three of us are really good at encouraging each other and keeping the energy up. But you know, just keeping that positive attitude throughout each thing that we have to do, whether it be one of the small little tasks that we have to do or a big task that we have to complete. It's just keeping up the attitude towards that, and also keeping God in the middle of it too. Something that I'm looking forward to this year is we're actually doing a week for class wars, and we're bringing together the different classes on separate days to kind of just regroup and recuperate and kind of go over a class goal that we had for them that they actually set out for themselves during ministry training a little bit earlier. And I think that's going to be so cool to just bring them back together and just work on a single goal that they had set out for themselves. And just to learn about that goal, learn about themselves as they're trying to reach that goal, and just learn their process going through it. A lot of them seemed really interested in trying to accomplish their goal, so coming up with it was actually a lot of fun and something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to, I mean, that is one thing I'm very excited about. I'm also really excited about Philly this year. Like I said, trying to figure out roles, what that looks like for me. But this year, hopefully, working with one of the teams again. I've always enjoyed that, and it's always a really crazy weekend, especially looking at the people that we've had signed up for it thus far. A lot of people who haven't been before or just new like that, and I'm really excited just to see how God works through us and with everyone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jed about finding your role. I think last year was different because me and Nate were serving a lot of the campers and a lot of the kids in Philly, and this year my focus has kind of been redirected to serve the high schoolers, and I'm really excited to do that and whatever that might look like, and really excited to build relationships and form prayer groups with the girls and just try to get to know them better.
I think wilderness camp is something that I would definitely encourage anyone to do, mainly because I think it provides opportunities that soccer, Philly, even VBS don't give, in that if you're in a canoe with someone or in a tent with someone, it's like a one-on-one experience, and you really have a chance to if you're a high schooler, invest in someone younger than you and build a relationship with them. And I think that's something that you really don't get in some of the other ministries. So I would say wilderness camp all the way if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think with any of the ministries, you just get plugged into community like that. If you're a high schooler and maybe you feel kind of on the fringe, if you get involved in summer ministries, you will be so connected. Especially Philly is a really great time for team building with other high schoolers, and I know in my personal life, summer ministries have just been a huge part of growth and understanding and being able to, meet God in a unique way.
And they just mentioned, wilderness camp in Philly, but I'll also mention soccer camp. As all of you guys must know, this church is in love with soccer. So getting to play soccer with these just littler kids, that kind of allows you to create that special bond between them when, you grow up and you're in the gym playing soccer and then all of a sudden you see them playing out too. There's countless times where we meet up just randomly in the gym and play soccer at nights during the week. So having that chance to make that connection that you make with everyone else in the church and make it with those younger kids, it kind of allows you to bring those younger kids into that same group. And they see you playing, they see how you play, and they see your attitude towards the way that you're playing, and they kind of copy that. And that's just so cool to see that you're like their role model, and it's just something really cool that you can experience while you're doing summer ministries.
Cool. All right. So that's pretty much it. That's your summer interns. Good job. You guys are naturals.